Senate Committee on Economic and Workforce Development is being called to order. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Brown.
Here.
Gregory 21. Here. Gregory 15. Lewis. Present. Schnelting. Here. Trent. Washington. Yeah. I'm here. We have a quorum.
All right, we're going to begin today's hearing with Senate Bill 931. Senator Crawford, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, Sandy Crawford, District 28. Thanks for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 931 to you this afternoon. It's a pretty easy bill. It's not very long and pretty much to the point. It would allow the Department of Revenue to notify individuals of tax deficiencies by first-class mail or email rather than at the taxpayer's request rather than certified mail. Every year, the state literally wastes millions of dollars on unnecessarily on postage because they get so many of these letters back that were never received by the people they were being sent to. So I think it's, especially in budget years like this, I think it's every penny counts, and this would actually save the state $2.1 million if we went to this type of mailing rather than the certified. Happy to answer any questions. I do have an expert witness from the department here that can dig into the details a little bit if needed as well.
Thank you, Senator. Do we have any questions? Senator Washington?
Thank you, Senator. I do like the part of the email which brings us to the current century. I do have a question, though, because of we move it from certified mail to first-class mail. Would there be any open discussion, would you be open to possibly extending the appellate time for, because when it's certified, we have a track that we know when it went there, somebody signed for it, so-and-so, but if not, you know, like say if I had a mailbox and it got broken into and I never ever knew about this until you start garnishing my checks. Well, by that time, my time is up to actually file an appeal with the department or anything like that. So there may need to be, you know, some additional time. And the reason I say that, just to use an analogy, is when I used to represent, I used to be a prosecutor, a lot of times we'd have to do something different with child support cases because a gentleman may not know that he has a child support case until he starts getting garnishing. He may not even know he has a child because of the way we our administrative process to deem that person the father, and then his time is up. Well, the state understood that issue, and there was a period of time where we opened it up. The state opened it up for like 3 years. So if you had any case where you had not had like a blood test or something like that, it allowed those fathers to come back and cure those defects. And so I wouldn't want us to be in that kind of position, but if we could look at maybe extending that time for an appeal. And then everybody doesn't put emails on their return and how we get someone's emails, but maybe we make that a part of getting your driver's license renewed or something, is that your email is included. So because with the email I'm really comfortable with the email, but if they don't have an email, that just challenges me. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and I'm sure that we can take that into consideration.
Senator Lewis.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Senator. I think I understand the spirit of the bill for sure and trying to save the state money, but I have concerns with just some of maybe better directed at the department, but just the implementation and the security. So we hear like that, some people, we will never send you emails or whatever collecting money or something like that. I get so many junk emails. Some of them I can't tell the difference whether it's fraud or accurate or whatever. So I just kind of concerned about the integrity and to ensure that our constituents aren't get
Right, I understand your concerns. A couple things that I learned while working on this bill is the department can actually see if someone opens that email or not from their side. So I think that's helpful. It's also my understanding that they won't send information via email. They would actually direct them to a portal to log into to get the information. And you might verify that with the witness, but there are some safeguards in place.
Okay, yeah, I really appreciate that because I made a note to myself, like some sort of red receipt thing. So, yep.
Right, they can tell when somebody's looked at it. They can even tell when somebody has forwarded that email to someone else, is my understanding.
Okay.
So on the email part, they would be able to know if somebody actually received it or not.
Okay, thank you so much, Senator.
Sure.
Any further questions? Seeing none, first up, they'd like to testify in favor. Please come forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Zach Wyatt, the Legislative Director for the Missouri Department of Revenue, and I do have to say I do like when Senator Crawford actually calls me an expert witness. That I'll pay her later. No, I'm just kidding. No, so this bill, Senate Bill 931, is a bill that the department has been really working on for the past actually 6 years to try to get across the finish line to save the people of Missouri and the state money. So just an overview, we actually send out over 10 million pieces of mail a year. And the last rate increase just happened in July of 2025 for certified mail. That was a 9.2% increase. So it costs the department for each certified mail piece to go out is $6.04. That's the certified rate plus the first class rate we have to pay at the same time. And almost 50% of certified mail is returned undeliverable, costing the state $1.2 million. If this bill does pass, we would see a savings of around $2.1 million for the state. One of the interesting things, so as you guys were speaking about in regards to the email aspect, so we know there are securities when we are dealing with people with taxpayer information. We're not going to be sending taxpayer information through their personal email. It's essentially like Senator Crawford spoke about. It would be an email saying you have a document in your My Tax portal. You will go in there, and that's a secure sign-on that many businesses, even to this day, they utilize in regards for paying their sales tax online and for communicating with us through there as well. I will do this plug right now. We would love for everyone to file electronically with the Department of Revenue. It makes it a lot easier for us. And it causes, we are able to, we do see a lot less fraud on the online portion than we do on the paper. When Senator Washington was speaking about the appellate time, it's a 60-day clock, but now I will tell you, it starts when we send out that certified notification. So honestly, 50% of those people that are getting that aren't getting the certified mail that's coming back to us, their clock started and they don't even know it because they didn't go pick up their certified mail, or they didn't know, they weren't notified properly by the United States Postal Service that they had certified mail waiting for them. And I will address that issue that I don't know if you've read the audit that came out of the St. Louis Post, the St. Louis Postage Distribution Center, and the abysmal rating and the audit that the distribution center got in St. Louis. And being in Jeff City, a lot of our mail goes through that distribution center, and it was kind of eye-opening for me and for my colleagues that they're seeing that like first-class mail can get delivered we're seeing between 2 to 5 days. Certified mail is taking up to 2 weeks. So it is, and you talk about the time clock again, that even once they get their certified mail, on average, they have maybe 2 weeks to even reply back to it. Their 2 weeks has already went by. So this this is really something the department is wanting to move towards, is being able to do the first class mailing and utilize the electronic means. It is something that many states around the country are moving towards as well. We have seen Nebraska, we've seen Iowa, we've seen North Dakota in our area do this. Colorado's actually working on this, and their business community came to them actually and was wanting this because they're seeing their mail go to, essentially, like you have a big business and it goes to the mail room and it sits there, and people don't even know that the certified mail had been delivered there, and it takes a while to get to the proper person. With the electronic means, it goes straight to the proper person that it needs to go to. So with that, I'd take any questions that the committee might have.
Thank you for your testimony. Do we have any questions? Senator Lewis?
Good afternoon. I heard you say that the certified, I think you said certified is taking up to 10 days or?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
What about regular mail?
Regular mail is about 2 to 5 days we're seeing,
Okay.
because they're getting it straight in their mailbox.
In just this one area, in one area in the state.
Well, no. So for our state, like when we look at how we're seeing things being delivered from the Department of Revenue, we're seeing our regular mail gets to our constituents in 2 to 5 days, but certified mails can take up to 2 weeks.
Okay, gotcha. I'm with you. I just get a little nervous of just like I talked to the senator about like fraudulent, like I get junk mail all the time. My mom gets junk mail, and I'm like, don't, in emails and everything. And you've been trying this for how many years?
6 years.
6 years. So have you guys taken an approach of maybe just like, okay, why don't we keep the 2 forms of mail and just adding the electronic option just to see,
We have tried that in the past. It just never made it. And it's not because of the bill, right? It's really, there's other things that happen during session that cause it not to get past the finish line. So it's not been something that's been really pushed to go across the finish line, I guess I should say.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Senator Gregory?
Correct if I'm wrong, certified mail is the one where the recipient has to sign it, correct?
That is correct.
So for reference of why it might take so long, we've got rural letter carriers, and it goes back to the post office, and you get a little slip in your mailbox that says, hey, you've got a letter you need to go sign. And then you forget about it. And then a few weeks later you go, oh no, I forgot about that. And then
And that's, and you also understand, like, so even during COVID, it was even worse that we were getting almost 90% of our certified mail coming back to the state. It's, post office is open from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And there might have specific times that you can go there. People work 9 to 5 jobs or 8 to 5 jobs. I don't know if there's a 9 to 5 job out there anymore, but people are working. They don't have the time to go. And then if they see it's from the Department of Revenue, we're not sending you a Christmas card or anything like
should.
that. Yeah.
maybe we can take the savings from this and
Right.
Do some goodwill.
There we go.
Then I guess the last thing would be, I'm sure you've all worked with envelope designs and everything that's just like, do not throw away on the front of it, maybe like in bright red or neon green or something.
Our
it's noticeable.
first class mail already has those security features and also the kind of where it's actually from the Missouri Department of Revenue.
All right, thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your
Thank you.
testimony. Anyone else that would like to testify in favor, please come forward. Seeing none, anyone that would like to testify in opposition? Informational purposes only. Senator, do you have any closing remarks?
I do not. Just thank you very much.
That concludes the hearing for Senate Bill 931. At this point, I'm going to make a motion to go ahead and go into executive session. Do I have a second? Second. We are in executive session. I move that Senate Bill 994 be brought before the committee. Do I have a second? Second. This is Senator Henderson's bill we heard last week. Senate Bill 994 modifies provisions relating to the filing of income tax returns. I move that the committee vote do pass Senate Bill 994. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Brown,
Aye.
Gregory 21, Gregory 15, Lewis, Schnelting. Senator Schnelting left his vote with the chair. He's voting aye. Senator Trent, Senator Washington. By your vote of 5-0, you have voted to do pass Senate Bill 994.
I now move that Senate Bill 872 be brought before the committee. Do I have a second? This is Senator Washington's bill we heard last week, which authorizes a sales tax exemption for supplies needed to care for infants. I move that the committee vote do pass Senate Bill 872. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Brown,
Aye.
Gregory 21, Gregory 15, Lewis. Senator Schnelting has left his vote with the chair. He's voting aye. Senator Trent, Senator Washington. By your vote of 5-0, you have voted to do pass Senate Bill 872.
I move that Senate Bill 1004 be brought before the committee. Do I have a second?
Second.
This is Senator Gregory's bill we heard last week. Senate Bill 1004 establishes the Missouri Angel Investment Incentive Act. I move that the committee vote do pass Senate Bill 1004. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Brown,
Present.
Gregory 21, Gregory 15, Lewis. Senator Schnelting has left his vote with the chair and is voting no. Senator Trent, Senator Washington. By your vote of 3-1, you have voted to do pass Senate Bill 1004.
I now move that Senate Bill 1032 be brought before the committee. Do I have a second? I have a second. This is Senator Moon's bill we heard last week. Senate Bill 1032 creates an income tax deduction for certain dependents. I move that the committee vote do pass Senate Bill 1032. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Secretary, please call the roll.
Senators Brown,
Aye.
Gregory 21, Gregory 15, Lewis. Senator Schnelting has left his vote with the chair. He's voting aye. Trent, Washington. By your vote of 5-0, you have voted to do pass Senate Bill 1032.
I now move that we exit executive session. Do I have a second? Second. Our next bill hearing today is Senate Bill 1105. Senator Bean, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Senator Jason Bean, representing the 25th District, here to present for your consideration Senate Bill 1105. Senate Bill 1105 establishes the Rural Workforce Housing Investment Act, which is a grant program established in the Department of Economic Development for the purpose of supporting the development of workforce housing in rural communities. A nonprofit development organization may apply to the department for approval for a workforce housing grant to establish a workforce housing investment fund. Grants shall be awarded on a competitive basis. No more than $1 million shall be awarded to any one nonprofit development organization over a 2-year period, and no more than $2 million to any nonprofit development organization for the period ending on June 30th, 2029. Grants shall require matching funds in order to be awarded. If a nonprofit development organization fails to engage in qualified activity within 2 years of receiving initial grant funding, such organization shall return the grant funds to the department. If a nonprofit development organization fails to allocate any remaining grant funds to qualified activities within 2 years of the commencement of initial qualified activity, such organization shall return all unallocated grant funds. Annual reports shall be filed by all nonprofit development organizations and by the department. This legislation is about bringing a growth mindset to rural Missouri. The nonprofit service to community mindset will be brought to housing development. There are several communities around the state that are doing workforce housing development projects. Some of them are here today to testify and share their successes at the local level and how a statewide program could enhance what they are already doing. Many communities have tried a variety of programs locally to encourage more housing development, but programs like this one could make their efforts go much further. This bill is about supporting rural Missouri, helping smaller communities grow their economy and attract and retain businesses by helping their workforce have access to local and affordable housing. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'd be glad to take any questions.
Any questions? Senator Washington?
Hi, thank you for bringing this.
Thanks,
Although
Senator.
you didn't bring everything you're supposed to bring to work this week, but that's okay.
It's coming, Senator, I promise you.
On the owner occupied, when we say 275 per unit, does that still provide an opportunity for that to be up to a fourplex, or as long as I'm living in one of those units, or is this just single-family housing for the owner occupied?
I believe it's just single-family occupied, but I think there are some witnesses coming behind me that can clarify that.
Okay. Second question is, there's a one-to-one match required. Can that match come from other grants or other funds? Like, for instance, in Kansas City, we have a special tax development. What do you call it? We have a Central City Economic Development Tax, and that we raise about $12 million a year, and we give that back to economic development projects in a certain area. So could they leverage this credit with another credit so that they're not having to come out of 275 out of their pocket?
I can't answer that 100%, but I can tell you that it's actually a 25% match, not a one-for-one.
Oh, okay.
So they got to have 25% match, and like I say, I think someone
Okay,
coming
so
behind
I'll ask one of the witnesses.
me. Right.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Yeah.
Senator Washington again.
I go to the country all the time, so tell me why we need this.
Why do we need this?
Mm-hmm.
Have you come to the Boot Hill lately? Have you seen our housing in our rural areas? We need
Yeah.
this. We need this.
I just needed you to say it on the record. We don't have that problem in Saline County, though.
Any further questions? Seeing none, anyone that would like to testify in favor, please come forward.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Committee. I'm Derek Weber. I'm the Executive Director of Northeast Missouri Regional Planning Commission. We serve the 6 north... A little closer. Hello? Yep. We serve the 6 northeast counties of Missouri, Adair, Scotland, Clark, Lewis, Knox, and Schuyler. This bill is, I'll explain some of the successes that we've had with a similar program that Senator Bean has filed within this bill. As a community development, economic development organization within our region, we're always trying to push any initiative that we have to help grow our communities, either economically or just through community development, such as this housing bill. This legislation has been filed the previous 2 legislative sessions, has passed through committee and did not make it past that, but 2 legislative sessions ago, Northeast Missouri Regional Planning Commission received a budget amendment for this program. We created Housing Enhancement Northeast, which is a partnership with Northeast Missouri Regional Planning Commission, Tri-County Electric, and Northeast Power Cooperative in Northeast Missouri to create a revolving fund that is going to build housing throughout our region. The reason we stepped into this role is because we did housing studies for the city of Kirksville and then a 3-county housing needs assessment for Schuyler, Adair, and Scotland counties. When we saw those results, what we saw was in Kirksville, 60% of the housing market was 60 years or older with a median price of $90,000. and 25% of the market was built after 2008 with a median price of $390. So really what we looked at is that middle workforce housing market was just non-existent, so we had to step in and take a role. Once we started our first build in March of 2024 using the revolving funds that Nemo RPC put some of their own funding in. Tri-County Electric and Northeast Power also contributed money to start our first build. But once we received the $1 million state appropriation, it really put gas on the fire within our region. And the need for our region, like you asked, Senator, is we do a lot of demolition grants throughout our region. So Community Development Block Grant, which is a great program for our rural communities, we go through and we remove slum and blight throughout some of these small communities, but a lot of these small communities do not have the means to grow back. And many of the contractors throughout our region, they're focusing not within communities building speculative housing. They're usually building custom houses outside city limits and whatnot. So we took the role to build housing within the communities, within the infill lots that we have within our region. After receiving our state appropriation, like I said, it kind of put gas on the fire within our project. We have now completed our 8th total build. All 8 houses that have been completed through our region are under contract or sold, and we've broken ground on our 12th house within our region. It's really brought, like Senator Bean said, a growth mindset to our region. Many of our communities that feel like they're dying, feel like they have no hope, now they have us coming in, building some of these homes and bringing people to their communities. Being a region that borders Iowa and also Illinois, we've brought people from that were going to move to Iowa to Missouri. So it's drawn people to our region for workforce and also just to come live in Missouri. One of the key factors to this program, I think, for us as a state is the revolving factor. So we received the first $1 million state appropriation from the 2024 legislative session. After receiving that funding, those funds, and to date, I did this calculation yesterday, we have spent $2,458,098.83 on just building materials at all local lumber yards and contract labor throughout the region. We try to hire contractors locally, and we use all of our local lumber yards. We're also partnering with local building and trades programs through our schools to help with workforce development, and it just has many added values to that. But with the state budget, the way it's talked, having programs like this where funds are going to be revolving through the communities, once a house is sold, we go right back into another build. So our organization tries to sell these homes at cost, recoup our costs, and then move on to the next build. I guess I'd take any questions for, yeah.
Real quick, how much
Senator
is-
Washington?
I'm
Go
sorry. What were the average costs on those 8 houses you built?
So right now we're building 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath homes with around 1,700 square foot and a large 2-car garage, and we're right around $250,000 with
they have
those
basements?
properties. No basement, on slab.
Are they built on property that had a basement in the past? Do you have any excavation cost or whatever involved in those?
Yeah, so when we have land acquisition costs, we have excavation costs, that all goes into the purchase price of the house. So
Okay.
many times we've purchased properties, like I said, that have been blighted in the past. There's had to be much dirt work done to level off the properties, but that all goes into the cost of the build, which we're still able to keep those costs of the builds around the 250 mark.
Yeah. The other question is, with costs going up to build, how you're not DED, so I can ask them. Don't worry about it.
And
I really appreciate what you're doing. We, in Kansas City, CDBG helped a lot of home building, and especially on the east side and in our west side portion. But one of the costs that folks kept forgetting was you're building on former house land, and they all had basements in there, so they were forgetting that. A lot of times, that's why I asked about the basement, because the cost of digging that up, and then some houses end up having some issues because they're not digging the basements out, and then when the settling comes. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing. We need that housing, especially as we look for businesses to come to our smaller communities to build them back up.
And one factor I would state on building where there was a house before, when we talk about the demolition projects, when we're tearing these houses down, these communities, that's a burden on them also because they're losing utility users. So the costs, you guys have probably all heard about water systems, wastewater systems, the rising cost of those. When we tear these houses down, that cost then gets spread out over fewer people. So when we're building back on these infill lots, that spreads that burden out to more users, which is a very good thing for the communities also.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anyone else that would like to testify in favor, please come forward. Proceed when ready.
Hi, Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of Senate Bill 1105, the Rural Workforce Housing Investment Act. My name is Crystal Jones, and I'm the director of the Perry County Economic Development Authority. And I'm here on behalf of Perry County and the city of Perryville to talk about our need for housing. Perry County's housing market is not keeping pace with workforce demand. We recently had a housing gap analysis completed, and it shows that the county will need more than 250 new owner-occupied homes in the next 5 years to keep up with demand. Yet current inventory in the workforce housing price range is extremely limited. The largest gap is in workforce housing. We need housing at all levels, but the workforce housing gap, which is that 175 to 275 range for us in Perry County, this is for households earning 75 to 100,000 per year. There's only 9 homes available for sale right now in Perry County. So when you have a gap at 250 and only 9 homes available, that's really creating a squeeze on our businesses. These are teachers, healthcare workers. We have a Mercy Hospital in Perryville. Manufacturing employees. We have about 3,000 manufacturing employees for a city with a population of about 8,500. So we have a very large manufacturing base. And when they can't find housing in the city where they work, they go to our neighboring community, which is Cape Girardeau, just 30 miles to the south, and then we lose them forever. So it's really become a problem for us. We do have demand, but what we lack are the tools to overcome higher infrastructure costs, inflation, financing gaps, and that's what's making rural housing development so difficult for us. We have not sat on our hands, though. We have created a couple of our own incentive programs. The city of Perryville has engaged with developers to help with infrastructure costs. They created their own incentive program where they would provide housing development support. And it has helped some, but what we're lacking is a program like the one Senator Bean is introducing to really add to the momentum. Senate Bill 1105, we feel, would help directly address those challenges by helping us unlock more private investment and increase additional housing supply. So we have the demand, we just need the supply, and any additional help that we could get as a rural community would go a long ways. And with that, I'd take any questions you have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Next up, they would like to testify in favor. Please come forward.
Senators, thank you for the opportunity. I do appreciate it. My name is Josh McKim. I'm with Nottoway County Economic Development in the far northwest corner of Missouri. Housing has been a major concern of ours for decades, and especially among our larger employers. So in response to that, our Industrial Development Corporation commissioned a housing study a few years ago. And lo and behold, the housing study showed there was a housing need in Nottoway County. Then we continued to poll our major employers to confirm that. They've confirmed that. And then we've engaged with the general public, asking them for their input as well. And as they look at major challenges that our community and others like us are facing, they continue to point to housing as a major potential help in the solution for, population decline across northern Missouri. So in response to that, our Industrial Development Corporation kind of stepped out of its traditional role as industrial recruitment and other activities, and commissioned about $450,000, set aside $450,000 of their own money to build 2 homes. We have since done that and have sold both of those homes, and now are looking at what do we do next? Do we continue that, or do we look at some other housing solutions? As we looked at this, we've been watching this bill and watched it for the last couple years. We really believe this provides additional opportunity for us to invest in rural Missouri and in housing, and hopefully help meet some of those needs that continue to be there for our major employers. Because our major employers are having to look at, we have more jobs than we have people, and they're having to look at what are we going to do. And what we fear is that if automation is not a viable solution, we'll see a mass exodus of larger employers from our rural areas, and you'll continue to see a decline. With that, I'd encourage you guys to heavily consider this bill, and would answer any questions you may have for me.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the witness?
Thank
Seeing
you.
none. Anyone else that would like to testify in favor of this bill? Proceed when ready.
Good afternoon, Senators. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on behalf of the City of Sikeston and our regional partners, Scott, Mississippi, and New Madrid counties in southeast Missouri that make out Boot Hill Progressive Partnership. My name is Marcy Lawson, and this is my first time to testify, but I happily drove 4 hours with my 13-year-old son over there because Senate Bill 1105 is very important to our rural community. So Sikeston is the largest community in our footprint with about little over 16,000 people with a median income of just over 53,000. I want to share a few of its specifics, but when 30 miles means 30 minutes, you can pretty much apply this to my entire area. We, like Crystal, have several major employers, manufacturing employers. We have Magnum Ice Cream, formerly Unilever, and they are the largest ice cream producer in North America. And we just recruited Carlisle Construction Materials, the first LEED Platinum manufacturing facility in North America. More than 70% of their employees are making over $25 an hour. This comes just under that median income at $52,000. Our average teachers make $48,000. So you're looking at somebody that works out at Magnum Ice Cream and a teacher, and they're making $100,000. And so they can easily afford that $250,000, $250,000 house like Derek is building, but they can't quite stretch to that $300,000 house. No surprise, this is where we find our inventory gap. Developers can't build a 3-bedroom house in that price range and still have the ability to make a profit and then invest more into our community. Like you said, you have to include not just the construction costs, but also the land and the infrastructure that goes along with it. So when I talk to Magnum and our other major employers, they tell me they plan to keep growing. We've had several major expansions recently, and they want to invest in their employees. However, our Tri-County region has declined on average 13% in population over the last 20 years. To actually grow our population, we have to have housing that working families can purchase. This will allow them to spend less on commuting to work and more on building a life here. We all know that childcare costs aren't going down, but that's a conversation for another day. So truly, SB 1105 fills that last mile gap, just like everybody has kind of mentioned today. It's not replacing the private capital, but unlocking it. I talked to a local realtor recently. He's been doing business in our community for decades, and he is currently working with a local nonprofit that was created specifically to address this issue in our area. They have 2 lots, so we are starting where Derek and his community was several years ago. They're ready to break ground just as soon as it thaws out. But we really do feel that with the jump start that Northeast Missouri has experienced, and with a bill like this, that we're looking at creating that snowball effect and up to 100 new homes that can easily be filled in our area over the next 5 years. So if we talk about reversing population decline, this is how we do it. For these reasons and more, I ask you to support this bill, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you for your testimony.
Yes, ma'am.
I actually have one question first. How much did you say you lost in population?
On average, between the 3 counties, about 13%.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, so What happened to the places where people live that left? Are those not?
So Sykes in itself has had a really robust LCRA program.
Okay.
We've done a great job of using CDBG to clear out the land, but we're no plan to redevelop.
Okay.
This would help with that,
Okay. And thank you for driving all that way.
of course.
Senator Washington?
You said you lost about 13% over what time frame?
20 years.
Okay. Could you just, for those listening and those in here who don't know, kind of give a description of the homes that were down there and why there's a need to rebuild a different way?
Sure. So in rural areas especially, there are, the replacement cost is higher, or I'm sorry, to fix something is higher than to replace it. So unfortunately, we have not had a continual investment into our existing properties. And so we've had to use our LCRA fund to get rid of some of those homes, but with no plan or availability to rebuild those.
And I know you've lost some companies the last few years. Do you have some companies that have shown some interest to come in so that the infill of, so that people that buy these homes can actually have jobs that can support them?
Yes, absolutely. I know that Carlisle Construction Materials brought 80 new positions. Orgill, in that same time frame, added, they went from 400 employees to 600. Magnum is currently at 730 employees. And then we have a local gentleman who has Allen Wire Company. And every time I turn around, I feel like they're adding on. They've gone from probably 350 employees when I started with the Chamber of Commerce. We're looking at 9 years later, and they're pushing close to 600.
And last question now. Who has the best barbecue in Missouri?
I knew that was coming. I really
Don't
do love
forget that you
Kansas City barbecue.
need me. Thank you. Thank you. See, great woman there. Support this.
Senator Lewis?
Excuse me, good afternoon. Well, I just want to say thank you for being here, and you did a great job testifying for your first time. And then I know you guys are debating, which is a very serious discussion, but my question to you is, did you bring any of that ice cream to us?
Okay, I genuinely thought about it because it is cold enough. However, I do not. Therefore, you are all invited to come back to the Sykes and J.C. Boothill Rodeo. It's the first week of August. I will give you all invitations and have plenty of ice cream there. We are the only place where we make Talenti gelato, so I'll have a fresh jar for everyone.
That sounds fun.
And for the record, we as senators will pay for it.
Yes, of course. I never implied anything different.
Thank you for that clarification, Senator. Any further questions? Senator Gregory?
More so of a comment. It just sounds like the senator might need to add the ice cream company to the Taste of the South. That is coming up when?
25th.
25th of February. Great
Okay.
time to come.
Taste of
And
the
then
South.
you will get to have the very best barbecue in the state of Missouri. No, you just,
It's not a barbecue comment.
Is it ice cream related?
No.
All right, Senator Washington.
And you will remember before then to bring back my pork skins, correct? Thank you. I thought if we put that on the record, you would not forget again.
I'd claim that's point of order that's borderline barbecue related, perhaps.
They make these amazing, they have a company sometimes
Oh.
that makes these amazing homemade pork rinds.
Well,
Not wrong.
good to know. Good to know.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Anyone else that would like to testify in favor of this bill or advocate for their favorite barbecue or ice cream, please come forward.
No, thank you, Senator. Brian Grace on behalf of the Missouri Economic Development Council. You heard from some of our friends in Northeast Missouri who have proven the concept, and we'd love for this bill to propel their success across the rest of the state.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the witness?
I eat sugar-free ice cream, Senator.
Seeing none,
Thank you.
thank you for your testimony. Anyone else in favor, please come forward. Begin when you're ready.
Mr. Chairman, committee, thank you. I am glad Miss Washington came back. because I was warned about her. First-time testifier. The SEMO Electric Cooperative represents a 6-county area in southeast Missouri, and we took a visit to Tri-County Electric Cooperative, went over to Derek's office. Derek took us around. That's where the vision began. We put a little bit of a twist on it because we didn't have any funds other than a revolving loan fund that the Association of Missouri Electric Cooperatives and SEMO put some seed money in of $120,000. We bought 4 blighted properties, kicked those over to a nonprofit organization for ownership. And in this case, because of the amount of funds or lack of the amount of funds, it was our intent to rehab those properties. Take properties that are effectively blighted and need torn down and rehab them, and hopefully spend about $100,000 on said property to bring it back to around, I'm going to say the word $150,000. We hope we can land there. Post-COVID, that has become a really tough chore, even in a town the size of Bloomfield. Our workforce is Marcy's workforce. As a matter of fact, I can be 30 miles away in more like 15 minutes. Just because of the proximity of our area, our people have to drive and work for Marcy, W.W. Wood, Nestle Purina, and for numerous landowners and farmers just in the southeast Missouri region. Our workforce gap is more like the $150,000 range. Those houses that are leaving the Bloomfields, Charlestons, Kennetts of the world, and are not getting filled back up except by ne'er-do-well landlords that don't always have the best future intent. We can throw some siding on a house, but it never quite makes that place a home. Our rural communities are driven by our school districts. These are teachers' homes, lineman home. We've hired something about 12 linemen at SEMO over the course of the past 3 years. None of those were able to find a home in Bloomfield. A short generation ago, every lineman I worked with lived in and around Bloomfield. So the need is real. I can show you the one house that has been built in Bloomfield in the last 5 years. That sounds like silly talk, but because of these lots and just the general economics of it, it's the reality that is. Definitely in favor. The only thing I'm a bit concerned about is there's going to be a lot of great applications for these grant dollars. The Boot Hill Regional Planning Commission has played maybe the key role in this, and we couldn't have necessarily done it without them and the other nonprofits involved. The co-op dollar, we like to say, is spent 7 more times, and I can attest to that in this case. This has been a volunteer type effort. I hope it doesn't have to repeat itself. This type of funding makes it real possible, and couldn't support it more on behalf of the electric co-op and the community of Bloomfield. I'd take any questions.
Just real quick, could you restate your name? I didn't catch that.
Sorry, Lloyd Rice.
Lloyd Rice, thank you. Oh, and also a reminder for all witnesses, I know we have a few people that it's their first time. Please be sure to make sure you fill out a witness form and leave it on the table as well. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to testify in favor, please come forward.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Jared Hankinson, Vice President of Government Affairs with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, here to testify in support of the legislation. Nothing that I can add that you haven't already heard from the folks today, but will just provide an additional point of emphasis from the Missouri Chamber. We hear from all of our members, whether they're folks operating in urban communities or folks operating in rural communities, that the state is struggling with a robust workforce. Through our Missouri 2030 initiative, we did plenty of research and accumulated data and reporting that demonstrates that accessibility to housing and affordable housing is a tool to address those workforce needs and those workforce concerns, and that is why we're here to support the legislation today. Appreciate Senator Bean for bringing this forward and all the folks that made the trip up to provide their direct testimony. One thing that I do want to share and make sure is on the record, I've had the conversation with Senator Bean as well as the House sponsor of similar legislation. While we are fully in support of this bill, we would like to have a discussion about possibly increasing the number that is currently in the bill under the definition of rural community. I believe that's currently at 50,000. We do think that there could be positive upside to increasing that number beyond the 50,000 or less cap. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Senator Washington.
Where would you, thank you for being here today, where would you propose moving that population number to?
Yeah, I think it's an open conversation. I think if you look at some of the communities like, say, Joplin, Missouri, or St. Joseph, Missouri, that are over that cap, I believe the population of Joplin is just over 50. St. Joseph significantly further over that. I think that those communities are, I'll say, rural adjacent in a lot of the work and the supply chains and the workforce that exists in those communities. So would love to have the conversation with the senator and the representative to see if there's appetite to expand to bring those communities into the fold as well.
And are those communities that are suffering from blight and lack of housing?
I would say if you speak to some of our local chamber federation.
Now, where are you
members-
from again?
I'm with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
But we do run the Chamber Federation. It's a network of 200 and I believe 6 now local chambers that operate across the state of Missouri. If you speak to the folks in St. Joseph, if you speak to the folks in Joplin, I would say that they have very similar concerns about things happening in their communities as well.
Okay. I'm just going to say I like the 50,000. Primarily because my family lives in a community that I don't even know if the whole county has 50,000. But when you say places like St. Joseph and Joplin, especially, they both have significant employers there, both of them, and they've both had a lot of development. My best friend / roommate, law partner is actually a St. Joseph person. So I think that they have a lot of resources that they can take advantage of now that don't come to our dying rural communities. I do like what you're saying. I like the 50,000 because I think we look at 50,000 places that are small for farm stuff, but we don't think about where they can live. And this will, like if you look at St. Joe, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but it is, almost a animal science hub in the Midwest. And so they have a lot of corporations now. And so this providing housing in some of our smaller places, our housing assistance, to me would also bring additional corporations and jobs to those, communities. When I go to the town that Northwest Missouri is in. I can't remember the name of that town. Northwest Missouri State.
Maryville?
Yeah, Maryville. Like I see big employers, but then I notice a lack of, a lot of housing for them. I don't, and I hate to be mean, but I don't see that in St. Joe. And I really don't see that in Joplin. I have to go to Joplin every summer for, the track kids I coach, and that sort of thing. And they are already getting a lot of businesses in both of those places. And so I think this is a twofold project. One, this will help those communities bring in more economic development in terms of jobs and that sort of thing. But they're not going to come if they don't have the people, and the people are not going to move there if they don't have a place to live. And I just don't know if a place that already has a casino and, multi-million-dollar people and a lot of manufacturing like St. Joe, I'm not sure if that's it. I'm sure you'll talk to the senator about that. But I will say that my vote would be, I would vote no if it went over the 50,000, just to, maybe we find another project for them. But I really, my family is in little bitty baby Saline County, and I want to make sure that they have some help.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the input, Senator, and I think we do certainly agree that there is a need for those smaller communities, and we want to be a part of addressing those concerns just as much as you do. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Saying none, thank you for your testimony. Next up in support.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Mike Sutherland. I'm here representing the Missouri Electric Cooperatives. And as you have heard, the Missouri Electric Cooperatives have been involved in some of these housing projects in the past. Our Cooperatives are located throughout the state in rural areas, but not only do our rural cooperatives serve electricity, they also serve the communities, and their success is directly attributed to the economic health of those communities. So while electric cooperatives are not housing developers, we do serve as a trusted and local partner. Our cooperatives are governed locally by locally elected boards and have a lot of care for their communities. So for those reasons, we are here to support Senate Bill 1105, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for the witness? Seeing none.
And I also just wanted to note that we did distribute, I think all the committee members got a letter of support from Northeast Missouri Electric Power Cooperative as well. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up in favor, begin whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm Jack Campbell. I'm here on behalf of the Missouri Associations of Councils of Government. You heard testimony from Derek Weber, who is a director for the Northeast. Okay, I said that in my head a couple times. Sounded better than that. Regional Planning Commission. He is a member of our association, and I just want to say that he's worked really, really hard on this, and he's done a really, really good job. And I think this is a great program and would love to see it expanded. So,
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none.
appreciate it.
Next up in favor, please begin when you're ready.
Bookend on this and really bring it home. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Jeremy LaFavor, appearing today on behalf of my client, Empower Missouri, and we are the state's longest and oldest anti-poverty organization. And we work and run a large housing coalition that reaches into every county in the state. And of course, all the things that we've heard here, we support this legislation. We appreciate the senator's leadership here, the private and nonprofit partnership. I think that's coming here together that combines some philanthropy, also combines some market-based things, is a unique way to approach that, and it's something that Empower Missouri continues to work on in our rural communities with both housing and food policy. And we stand in support. Happy to answer a question.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Anyone else that would like to testify in support of the bill? Anyone that would like to testify in opposition? Anyone for informational purposes only? Seeing none, this now concludes the hearing. Well, before I almost stepped too soon. Senator, do you have any closing remarks?
Only thing I will say is I appreciate everybody making the trip up here from Southeast Missouri. I know it's a long trip, and I got about an hour past where they come from. And I would like to officially invite the committee for a barbecue, pork rinds, ice cream rodeo, followed by a Pepto-Bismol party. So anyway.
Thank you, Senator. Now, this now concludes the hearing for Senate Bill 1105. Our final bill being heard today is Senate Bill 1017. Senator Lewis, whenever you're ready. She's presenting a sub. And she will actually be presenting a sub, which has already been distributed to the committee.
Mr. Chair and only member of the committee right now. Thank you.
You have my full undivided attention.
I appreciate that. For the record, I am Senator Patty Lewis, representing Senate District 7 in Jackson County, Missouri. Thank you for the opportunity to present Senate Bill 1017. Today, higher grocery prices have made it harder for families to make ends meet. We just heard a great bill talking about the rising costs of housing. People are tired of paying more. Overall, food prices have gone up 3.1% at the end of 2025, including higher prices for meat, fruit, vegetables, coffee. Since the pandemic, food prices have jumped 25%. Senate Bill 1017 puts families first by eliminating state sales tax on groceries and provides real relief for working class Missourians. Currently, there are only 10 states in the country that tax groceries, including several of our neighboring states do not have sales tax, including Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, and Nebraska. And several of my constituents travel across the state line to Kansas to do their grocery shopping because of the elimination of sales tax. This bill has a history of bipartisan support. Senator Coleman has a similar bill. I will point out my bill, and I worked very closely with our amazing research to ensure that it only includes eliminating state sales tax on groceries. I want to leave it up to the local communities and counties to do what they will with their jurisdictions. Lastly, I want to thank the entire committee here for their support last year when we worked on addressing tax on diapers and feminine hygiene products. And I hope you will support Senate Bill 1017 to provide real relief to our constituents while so many of them are struggling with the cost of living. So, Mr. Chair, with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the witness? Seeing none. Anyone that would like to testify in favor, please come forward and begin when you're ready.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Tyler Travers, registered lobbyist here today on behalf of Missouri Appleseed in support of this bill. Missouri Appleseed works on policy that intersects criminal justice and health and wants to create healthy families. And one of the best ways to create a healthy family is to put affordable food on the table. I'm also here today on behalf of Canby's Markets in support of this bill. Canby's Markets is out of Senator Lewis's district. They help to redistribute healthy food throughout the Kansas City metro, and they do help to set up essentially what are grocery stores in food deserts. So by eliminating this regressive tax, we think that it would help families access healthy food in that way as well.
Thank you for your testimony. Do we have any questions? Seeing none. Next up, if you'd like to testify in favor, please come forward.
It's quicker this time. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Jeremy LaFavor, again appearing today on behalf of Empower Missouri. In addition to our work on housing, we have a robust network of organizations and people that work on food insecurity issues. And the affordability of food is a serious issue in the state of Missouri right now, and eliminating or reducing the taxes would help ease that burden on low and fixed income Missourians. We applaud the senator's continued leadership here. Appreciate you hearing the bill, and look forward to seeing it on the floor.
Thank you for your testimony. Seeing no questions, anyone else would like to testify in favor?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Chris Ropey. I am here on behalf of Nurture Kansas City, which is a non-for-profit in Kansas City that serves the 6 zip codes that see the highest infant mortality rate in the region, in the area. For all the reasons listed and that people have mentioned before, very supportive of this legislation, and it helps the moms and babies that we take care of and lead and get off to healthy lives. And anything we can do to support this legislation and the senator's efforts, we're all for. Happy to answer questions.
Any questions? Seeing none. Next up, would like to testify in favor?
Here we go. Yeah. Thank you, Chairman. Kurt Wickmer, representing the Missouri Catholic Conference. We'd like to go on record in support. We've been in favor of previous measures for cost cutting for basic necessities like feminine hygiene products and diapers for families. And I can't think of a more necessary item than food for families. So we support these cost-cutting measures, and I'd like to thank the Senator for bringing this issue forward.
Thank you for your testimony. Seeing as there are no questions, anyone else that would like to testify in favor?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Arnie C., AC Dinoff, State Public Advocate. I've been advocating this for years. Food, water, even Band-Aids, basic, alcohol, hydrogen peroxide. They're all basic necessities that people need and Missourians need to live on a day-to-day basis. It's kind of interesting because the last 6 times I've gone to the grocery store, it's supposed to be 1% on groceries, either Schnucks, Deerbergs, some other Aldi's, but that receipt has higher than 1% on basic foods. And I'm not talking about premium foods. I'm not talking about like steak, shrimp, those type of more expensive foods. I'm talking about just basic foods, vegetables, salads, basic food groups, and it's much more than 1%. As a matter of fact, on some of those items, I was charged the entire 4% plus the local sales tax plus the county sales tax. And so by eliminating, I don't know, it's supposed to be 1%, but on the receipts that I have, it's definitely not 1%. And I'm not sure who's doing the auditing of these grocery stores. I'm not sure if it's Missouri Department of Revenue, but somebody needs to do that because it's not being calculated properly. But I've advocated for this bill, and I wholly support SB 1017. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, is it possible that there was local sales tax included in that also that contributed to the higher than the state grocery rate?
I asked the grocery store to try to break it down because they have several different taxes on there. I think there's like 2 or 3 different taxes. It's supposed to be broken down in the state, the county tax, and then the local tax. But it's still 1% on the state portion. It's not just the 1%. It's broken down, but in those categories, it's always more than 1%.
Okay. Any questions for the witness? Senator Washington?
I just want to say thank you for bringing this bill.
No further questions. Thank you for your testimony. Anyone else like to testify in favor? Seeing none, anyone like to testify in opposition?
I'm in favor.
You're in favor? Okay.
I know it's shocking, but it's very clean. It's a very good bill. We're not going to tax the groceries. And sorry, I didn't even say who I was. Lisa Panette with Armor Vine. You just totally threw me off. So we're in support as if it stays clean. I mean, I hear there's a sub now, so but it is very clean right now. So we would support that. That's all.
Thank you for your testimony, and apologize for moving a little too quickly there. Any questions? Seeing none. Anyone else that would like to testify in favor? Seeing none now, would anyone like to testify in opposition? Seeing none, anyone for informational purposes only? Seeing none. That concludes the hearing for Senate Bill. Do you have any closing remarks, Senator? Almost jumped the gun again there.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I do want to clarify that the sub, it just tightens the language that it just is the state sales tax portion. So it's still clean. And, just want to thank you again and the committee members for your time.
Thank you, Senator. This concludes the hearing officially for Senate Bill 1017. With no further business coming before the committee, I now make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? We are adjourned.